I want to know and I want to hear other people's opinions on can Renegades save Destiny 2? If we go over Grenader Jake's YouTube video, he specifically posted goodbye Trials. Well, let's watch this reaction video. And if you guys don't know, lately I have been, feeling on Trials of Osiris that it has been getting boring. Like every single weekend, I always play Trials of Osiris. I've always, helped people go to the lighthouse, no matter how small they were or how much they even played PvP. But recently, I've been thinking about staying out of Trials because I don't feel like there's anything new. I feel like the population is getting so low, and it's so hard to find people to even play Trials without them doing two things, either cheating or you got people sweating their off because they play this game non-stop. And it's so hard to even get a win. Like you get rolled over by the enemy team basically, and you get paired with them like 5 times in a row. To me, I think that's ridiculous. But I feel like Trials isn't in the area it should be, and I feel like they need to make a change, which they have been, which is great, but at least a little more change. Hence why I'm starting to step away from Trials of Osiris, because it's not fulfilling anymore. I got my rules, I got what I wanted, and I just don't feel like it's getting to the point to where I should continue to play it. Seeing this YouTube video being posted by Grenader Jake, specifically saying goodbye Trials, I mean, he's one of the biggest Trials players in Destiny 2. So if he's leaving, maybe the numbers will change, but I don't think they will. So let's react to it. Let's watch his video. Let's see what he has to say, because honestly, if his title specifically says goodbye Trials, then well, there must be a good valid reason. And I'm wanting to hear it. Let's watch it together.
Yo, what up, squad? Happy to be posting a YouTube video again. Sorry that it's been so long since the last one, and honestly sorry that there's going to be so few in the foreseeable future. But what I want to do in this video is really discuss an update regarding my take on Trials of Osiris, and then we can talk about this video's sponsor, which is SteelSeries Sonar, and we'll wrap it up by talking about the future of this channel as well as my main platform, Twitch. So let's just get this out of the way right away. I have decided to not participate in Trials of Osiris for this season, meaning the next time I'll even consider stepping foot into it won't be until after the December Renegades release. And this is kind of a big deal. I've been playing Trials of Osiris since it released in 2015 and have played and streamed it religiously. I mean, I'll miss a week at a time at most. This is not something that is on brand for me at all. Taking months off of Trials is a big deal. So let's kind of get into the reasons why. Reason number 1 for taking time off from Trials is enjoyment. To put it quite simply, I don't really enjoy Trials at the moment. The gameplay doesn't feel nearly as fun or rewarding as it did back when the game mode first was released. And the player base, well, it's in shambles, leading to matching the same sweaty teams over and over again. I used to look forward to my 12-hour Trial streams, but not anymore. So let's get into reason number 2, which is the behind the scenes nonsense. And this point might be unknown to the majority of you, but it is important to why Trials isn't something I'm really interested in right now. What is currently going on behind the scenes in Trials just sucks. There are a ton of people doing paid carries again, even though it's blatantly against the Bungie TOS. Now, to be clear, I have nothing against paid carries. While I never have done them myself, I don't blame anybody for accepting payment in exchange for their services. But as a result of everybody realizing they can now do paid carries without punishment, there has been a pretty serious and terrible trickle-down effect into the actual Trials experience. Before, when tons of streamers and other services were doing paid carries, there was enough dilution as a result of a strong player base. These teams were pretty uncommon to match. Now, however, with such a small player base and such high incentive for all these service streamers to be online, they are nearly impossible to avoid. Which leads me to my main point here with the whole behind the scenes nonsense. The new meta for playing Trials is actually avoiding all of these teams. So what you see here is that all the streamers are going to have a bunch of tabs open because they want the path of least resistance on getting their 7 wins so they can get as many of these paid carries done as possible. They have all the tabs of all the other service streamers that are currently online open, intentionally avoiding them. Essentially, they are reverse stream sniping them. And hey, I do this at times too because there are certain teams I simply have no interest in matching. So I'll make sure they're already in a game before I begin my queue. But as a result of everyone avoiding one another, we sometimes see people waiting in orbit to queue for a serious amount of time, and it diminishes the actual amount of time that we all actually spend in the game playing. And even worse, when these teams happen to match each other, nobody wants to play it out. What happens is somebody will back out.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this
Fast! Get that out of here! I don't want to listen to you!
Which will loss protect their carry, and then they'll give the other team the win, and then they'll just go continue on with their card. And I want to make it clear that I am not saying I am above any of this. While I have never actually done paid carries, I have avoided other teams, and I have backed out to loss protect carries and stuff like that. But what I am saying is that simply all this behind the scenes nonsense sucks. It takes the fun out of the playlist and reduces actual time spent playing. It just doesn't feel good. It's like an entire side job of trying to manage when to queue, how to queue, and trying to make sure you've got all these other tabs open and backing out. Whose turn is it to back out? And it's just this whole side meta that is replacing the fun vibe that Trials once had. Now, before continuing with the rest of this video, I do want to let you all know it's time to get a huge advantage over your opponents. I'm talking about SteelSeries Sonar, the free audio software that works with any headset and allows you to by swallow me. There are audio experience offers competitive advantage. Download now headset 20 what we were discussing. Point number 3 for why I am taking a break from Trials is Trials has lost its identity. What did it used to be? Well, Trials used to be an intense playlist where with each win, your opponents got tougher and the stakes got higher. Lighthouse matches were all or nothing, where you either got to fly to the lighthouse and get tons of exclusive and unique rewards, or you had to start all over from scratch. There was adrenaline. There was something on the line. The lighthouse was special. What is it now? I mean, it's a casual playlist disguised as Trials. Everybody gets showered with loot. There are no adepts, aka there's no real exclusive rewards. And the lighthouse is very far from special now. There's no more intense adrenaline-inducing moments. There really is nothing on the line anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these changes are great for the casual player, and if you make great changes for the casual player, the player population increases as a whole. But all of these changes trickling out over a few years have piled up to a point where it just isn't Trials anymore. It's quick play with better rewards. The thing that got me most excited about streaming Trials 12 hours a day was helping people get their flawless and hearing their reaction and seeing them get their exclusive exciting loot, and that's all completely gone. My fourth and final point for why I'm taking a break from Trials is cheaters. I'm gonna make this point quick. Let's be honest. Bungie's inability to handle...
Okay, all right, I'm gonna pause it right there. He's right. There has been a lot of cheaters, but I've also noticed that Grenader Jig is one of those people to where if you are a team, well, if you are specifically a team that beats him, even if you aren't cheating, you are accused of cheating. So I agree with what he says to a certain extent, because I know for a fact there are teams out there who are really, really good who do not cheat, but he accuses them of cheating. So I agree with him, but at the same time, you know, I disagree because he's the type of person who talks about cheaters, but when there is a team that specifically beats him, he calls him a cheater. So I will say that. I will stay strong with that because I have seen some gameplay of when a team beats him, he says they're cheating. So I'm going to agree with him to a certain extent that there have been cheaters in Trials of Osiris, but I know for a fact that Grenader Jake is one of those types of people who calls anybody a cheater that beats him regardless. So I will say that for sure. All right, let's continue.
Clear and blatant cheaters is a constant letdown. I spend too much of my time playing Trials, looking up enemy teams, discovering statistical anomalies that make it clear as day that that player is not legit, and yet they play week after week. The whole thing is a buzzkill, and taking a few months away from it sounds wonderful. All right, before I move on to the next topic, the future of my YouTube and my Twitch, I want to make it clear that I still have a lot of hope for the Destiny endgame PvP. The foundation of this game, the gunplay and the ability play, gameplay is as good as it gets. So PvP will always have the chance of being fun. But my opinion is that Bungie really needs to step outside the box and completely reimagine what endgame PvP content can be like. Scrap Trials, start fresh. Would this be too little too late for Destiny 2? Yeah, maybe, but I still would love to see them try. And I even wrote out a model for new endgame PvP, a completely new mode with a new loot system. I wrote out the whole thing in a way that I think could be really fun, exciting, and unique. Check the description because there is a link to that tweet where I kind of walk through exactly what I imagine a new endgame could look like. All right, let's get into the last section of this video, which is the future of my channel here on YouTube as well as my Twitch stream. And let's just rip the band-aid right off here, talk about the near future, and say that, well, there probably won't be any YouTube videos until Destiny 2 Renegades launches on December 2nd, and the streams will also be very limited. Regarding YouTube, it's difficult to make unique and interesting videos around a game that I just currently don't have any passion for. And in case this hasn't been made clear a lot over the last decade, while I do love my YouTube audience and I do enjoy making videos, Twitch has kind of always been where my heart is at. The live chat there, the community there, has always and will always have my main focus. So maybe you should consider making a Twitch account. It is 100% free, and then you can hang out with the Jungle Squad and me while I'm live. Unfortunately, getting back to sort of why I'm making less videos right now, this year in France has not quite gone as planned for me. My mental health has really taken a nosedive. There are a lot of guesses that I have as to why this may be, but one thing I know for sure is that my inability to attend a lot of the social stuff here in Annecy, France is a big contributing factor. I stream from 4 p.m. to like 10 or 11 p.m. here, which is when all the social things happen. So while my interest in Destiny and gaming overall is at an all-time low, I kind of want to go all in on trying to get used to my life here in France. So I'll still fire up an occasional stream here and there. I'll start them at 7 a.m. Pacific time, but I'm completely leaning away from this specific day schedule that I've relied on the last decade between now and when Renegades releases. So just expect.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Very few Twitch streams across the next couple of months. When they do go live, it'll still be at 7 a.m. Pacific, and will kind of just be because, hey, I want to go live and I want to game, rather than it's on a specific day. And what about my content after Renegades? Let's be honest here, I don't really know. The last decade, it's been incredible. I have gone all in on being a content creator, and I have specifically gone all in on being a Twitch streamer, and it has been more rewarding than I could have ever imagined. The people I've met, the moments I've had, the income it's all generated, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. But the thing about streaming on Twitch is that success is never guaranteed. So in order to make the most of the opportunity, you really have to strike while the iron is hot. And my channel was hot for a straight decade. And I'm so proud of myself because I truly did my best to make the absolute most out of the entire opportunity. But it came at a pretty serious cost. I often spent 12 hours a day grinding during horrible metas while getting stream sniped constantly by cheaters, and while I sometimes just had absolutely no desire to turn the game on. I missed family vacations, I missed friends' weddings, and I slowly lost friendships due to my dedication to this career and the fear of letting it slip away by missing too much time. The iron is no longer hot, and after 10 full years of putting streaming ahead of anything, I'm ready to permanently move past that stage of my life and my career. Which brings me to the question again, what will happen to my content after Renegades? I said I don't know, and the answer is, well, we shall see. I'm officially entering this play it by ear era of my Twitch career. When games aren't fun, I don't want to have to stream. But when games are fun and I'm loving the grind, you might see 12-hour streams make a return. When gaming just doesn't feel like that good, or there's other opportunities that appear in life, you might see periods of time where streams don't really happen much at all. My goal here is a long-term goal. My goal is to keep streaming fun and start treating it like a hobby once again instead of a job. This way it can be a long-term thing that I continue to enjoy for the rest of my life. And of course, with streams come YouTube videos as well, so this platform will not be forgotten about. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you. I know I just threw a lot of information your way, but it felt important to get all my thoughts out there. If you have any questions or even just comments on anything I've mentioned, please drop a comment below. I will be combing through every comment I see and responding to quite a few of them. Once again, thank you I love you, Jungle Squad, and I look forward to all the crazy games, all the videos, and all the memories that I know the future still has in store for us. Thank you. Have a good one. See you later.
Okay. Well, not bad of a video. He has some valid points and some wrong points. And there are parts to where I agree with him. There are parts to where he basically said that Trials is dying, that Trials, is no longer fun. And it's to the point where you are specifically watching other big streamers who are doing Trials carries just to avoid them. I mean, I've done it a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like, now the population is so low. I have specifically watched Walla. I specifically watched Panda, Defizzle, iFrostable. I've watched iFrostable, and I've had these tabs up. Oh, Buoyancy as well, because I don't want to play them. I'm sorry, but their team that they have made is just like top PvP players, and no matter what, if you're a low player, kind of like me, I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I can help you get to the lighthouse fast, but it also depends on who we're getting paired up with. I have a good chance of standing, by and being able to hold myself, accountable when coming in 1v1s or 1v3s. I pulled off a lot of times, but it's who I'm going against and, who they are as a player, how good their skill is. But I agree with him basically saying that. He specifically said that over here.
Carries, I have avoided other teams and I have backed out to loss protect carries and stuff like that.
Which I have too. I sometimes, if I get Lighthouse, I don't even care about going to Lighthouse once again. If someone joins me and says, hey, I need 4 more wins, I'm like, sure, join the team. I will give you loss protection because I don't care. If there's a certain point to where I can't reach the Lighthouse, I don't care. I'll give you loss protection if you need it because, well, the goal is to get you to the Lighthouse, not me. I got all the loot, but I understand you need the loot, so I agree with him there.
What I am saying is that simply all this behind the scenes nonsense sucks. It takes the fun out of the playlist and reduces actual time spent playing. It just doesn't feel good. It's like an entire side job of trying to manage when to queue, how to queue, and trying to make sure you've got all these other tabs open and backing out. Whose turn is it to back out? And it's just this whole...
Yeah. It's true. Again, you have all the tabs open, trying to look at other streamers, trying to see what they're doing, trying to see when they're queuing, just so you can avoid them. It's just like all the time. Like back in the past, you used to be able to queue and not worry about anything. You used to be able to queue, load right into Trials, not even have to look at your team or who you're playing against. Now, with the population being so low, you have to look because you don't want to get paired up with the same person every single time. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And that sucks. That's the part that really does suck. Another thing in the video of how he discussed, that Trials needs a complete rework. I don't know about that. And the reason why I say I don't know about Trials of Osiris being specifically reworked is because Destiny 2 is already so far in the years that even if they decided to rework Trials of Osiris and bring a new mode, I think the player population is so low, the chances of them bringing back a lot of players is very, very low. I mean, that's my own opinion. I don't think they should do it because if they do it, it's not going to win the population back, and it's just going to remain the same as always. Sure, there's going to be people come back to experience it, but maybe after a couple days, it's going to go back to originally how it was. And honestly, with the game, with how the state of the game is right now, it's so not worth it to create a new mode. I think that should be honestly involved in a new game. Potentially Destiny 3, if they even develop Destiny 3. I mean, you have Destiny Rising. You kind of have a Destiny Rising mode with Trials of Osiris. It's not really Trials of Osiris. It's called like the Iron Bar. Something to do with the Iron Lords, basically. A PvP mode that comes out every weekend. So it's kind of like Trials of Osiris, but not. I think they should introduce a new mode coming to D3 if it's even being developed, or another game if it's even being developed. I don't know. Who knows?
Side meta that is replacing.
Let me see here. He did say one other thing.
Some of these changes are great for the casual player, and if you make great changes for the casual player, the player population increases as a whole. But all of these changes trickling out over a few years have piled up to a point where it just isn't Trials anymore. It's quick play. with better rewards. The thing
Valid point there too. I feel like if they would release like a new update in Trials of Osiris every single month, it'd bring back the player population. You know, maybe introduce new weapons, maybe introduce new maps, or introduce a voting system to what map you can vote as teams. That would be good. I wish they would do something like that.
loot, and that's all completely gone. My fourth and final point for why I'm taking a break from Trials is cheaters. I'm gonna make this point.
Sorry. Okay. All right. I know I said already, but I love. Again, yeah. I love that he says cheaters. Like he makes it like a cheaters. Oh man. Anyways, what he means by that is yes. In Trials of Osiris, before the Edge of Fate, and especially before the new updates, cheating was bad. Really, really bad. And I'm not talking about a player being really good against you. No, I'm talking about people flying around the map. I'm talking about people activating to where you can't kill them, to where they're immune, to where, you know, they're like, you can't avoid them. It was that bad. I mean, the cheating software that Bungie uses right now really needs an update. And I agree with that because it's just bad. You see a cheater in the game. How is it that a new game can develop a better cheating system than Destiny 2, who is a big company like Sony? Or not, I shouldn't say a big company like Sony, but Sony owns Bungie, technically. I mean, at least invest in a little better cheating software to get cheaters out of the game. I guess that's simple and easy. I don't know what the struggle is around that, but I just feel like if that was involved in the game would be a lot better. And it has gotten better, but still, there's chances are we're gonna face, you know, cheaters in the game. I want that out of there. I want it gone. Update a better cheating software. That'd be really, really good.
Quick, let's be honest. Bungie's inability to handle clear and blatant cheaters is a constant letdown.
We're gonna go past that.
Where streams don't really happen much at all. My goal here is a long-term goal. My goal, I kind of want to go all in on trying to get used to my life here in France. PvP, a completely new mode with a new loot system. I wrote out the whole thing in a way that I think could be really fun, exciting, and unique. Check the description because there is a link to that tweet where I kind of walk through exactly what I imagine a new endgame could look like. All right.
He wants us to check the description. Let's check the description, see what he says real quick. Yeah, his endgame for Destiny 2 PvP. My idea for a new Destiny 2 3v3 PvP in-game activity to replace Trials. The hype surrounding Trials is dead. It's time for Bungie and the community to move on. While 3v3 elimination with zones is still a great game mode, I just don't see Trials capturing people the way it once did. No matter what improvements and changes are made, it's an old, tired concept. It's seen too many changes, there's too much confusion on how aspects of it work, and people are over it. We need a fresh start for an in-game PvP mode. Concept: the Gauntlet. The new Destiny 2 3v3 PvP in-game activity. The Gauntlet would be on a 3-week cycle, starting on Friday at reset, just like Trials. Week 1, Dominion as we know it. Week 2, Carry the Stone. A large boulder/stone spawns in or spawns at a central location on the map. Once a player picks it up, they can no longer use weapons or abilities. They become very slow and very heavy. By begin collecting points, each second equals 1 point. The stone cannot be dropped, so the player must die for the stone to become obtainable again. This would lead to slow rotations around the map to protected areas, and whichever team had the balls would have to consistently win 2v3s. I imagine a lot of exciting clutches and big moments as a result, and landslides becoming a bit more difficult. Week 3, another creative and new game mode to cycle in. You can help me brainstorm. The Gauntlet, of course, offers new weapons and new armor, but it offers something much more exciting and new. Think of Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet. This is what the Gauntlet would be built around. The idea of collecting each piece, jewel, needed to complete the Gauntlet, and thus having access to the ultimate prize. An exotic weapon only obtainable through the Gauntlet, and only unlocked once each jewel is collected. In order for there to be success and hype around an in-game PvP mode, there needs to be a serious chase, and in my opinion, there really needs to be 2 chases. One mostly connected to RNG, and one mostly connected to winning. This keeps all levels of skills engaged and interested. For each mode, there are 2 jewels, meaning there are 6 in total. Jewel 1, win 5 straight matches. Jewel 2, random post-game drop 1% chance on wins, 0.5% on losses. So each week, only 2 of the 6 jewels will be available, meaning it would take a minimum of 3 weeks to complete the Gauntlet. For most, it would take much longer. or take much, much longer. I believe the above concept does absolutely everything as Destiny 2 PvP mode needs. It makes winning matter, but not so much that less than average players feel helpless. It brings back the post-game drop excitement, reminding us of the good old galley freak-out days. It keeps things fresh as we bounce between 3 different game modes on different maps. It'll take a long time before we start feeling any staleness. Whether you like this above idea or not, I think we can all agree something needs to change. Just like in Year 1 D2, Bungie needs to start taking some risk if they want their game to feel exciting again. And maybe the above concept can be the starting point for getting there and our creative minds flowing. Who knows? Maybe we eventually get a Destiny 3 and something like the Gauntlet can launch with it instead of Trials. I know a lot of you think it's too little too late, or Destiny's cooked, just move on, but a lot of us still love the game at its core and are always fine to see it improve in a way. To see it improve in any way. I'm just a Destiny fan, what can I say? Thanks for reading, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Retweet if you like, please. He's not wrong, although I don't know about his gauntlet mode that he's doing right now. I have no it's a good idea, it's a good concept idea, but I don't think it should actually be there as an official PvP event. I mean, 3-week cycle, collect 6 jewels over the 3 weeks. It's okay. Not the very best idea, but it's all right. It's a good concept idea, but I don't think they should move on with it. I think, in all honesty, you know, I agree with him with one thing, that it needs to change. It really, really does. And Bungie needs to grab their stuff, get everything together to improve Destiny 2 as a whole. Or better yet, Renegades coming through, make a D3. Or start working on a D3. That's what the community wants. If you don't make a D3, change everything else. I mean, I really hope that Renegades is something that brings a change in Trials of Osiris, new weapons that you can grab, new weekly map rotations. But if there's one thing I can agree with him, is that it needs to change. Like, it needs to be feeling exciting again. And knowing me and knowing how I am and knowing how I love Trials of Osiris, if these changes can't be made, their player base is just going to keep dropping, especially PvP. What was he cooking? Oh my goodness, I love that. Oh, I love that. Bungie, if they got a hold of this idea. I'll carry all the stones, call me Thanos. This is actually an interesting idea, like you get reward for the week, but are working for a 3-week ultimate goal. Cool concept. Amazing concept, but unlikely to be implemented into the game because of heavily reduced resources at Bungie. I really do believe there's a skeleton crew working on D2 as more devs have been moved over to Marathon, not to mention all hands on deck to fix the art theft as well. Jordan, I like this a lot, would be a good change, I believe. I'm still on the side of old school PvP in which the abilities would be toned down across all 3 characters, good old weapons, and map awareness gameplay. Take radar out. So, anyways, he brings valid points. I don't disagree with Grenader Jake. It's sad to see him go, you know, especially from Trials, because Trials is a huge mode, especially in Destiny, at least during the weekends for us PvP players. But I agree with one thing, is that there needs to be a change to be made, and hopefully that change will be soon or later. But if there is no change to be made for Destiny 2 PvP, considering most of all Trials of Osiris, then a lot of the PvP players and Destiny 2 player base will die out. And I don't want them to die out, so I'm really hoping there's changes. But anyways, great video to Grenader Jake. Honestly, I truly hope that there will be a change in Destiny 2. Only time will tell, guys. Only time will tell. Oh, man.